Did you know that by the time you reach 80, your muscle mass may not be as strong as it was in your youth? Yes, muscles do weaken over time, but this isn't an unavoidable part of aging. This condition, known as sarcopenia, affects millions of seniors worldwide and often robs them of their independence. As your muscles weaken, your risk of falling increases, and every year over 300,000 older adults are hospitalized due to muscle loss. But here's a surprising fact. New research is turning the long-held belief that muscle loss is inevitable completely upside down. The Journal of Physiology reveals that some people in their 70s have the same strength and functionality as younger individuals. Yes, you read that right. These individuals outperform their peers who struggle with even the simplest movements. In fact, some of them, now in their 90s, not only carry out daily activities with ease, but continue to exercise, climb mountains, and outperform much younger people in strength tests. If you want to discover the secret to healthy aging, don't forget to check out our videos. What exercises have contributed the most to your health? We look forward to your comments. Let's share more information on this together. So, what could be the secret of those strong, fit seniors? You know, the ones who are 80 years old but still stand tall, don't need a cane, and run around the park with their grandchildren. What do you think they're doing differently? Surprising but true. 93% of older adults don't know simple yet effective habits that could slow down or even reverse age-related muscle loss. However, experts at the Mayo Clinic have uncovered these habits. The interesting part is that many doctors don't even share this invaluable knowledge with their elderly patients. Moreover, according to research from Harvard Medical School, the key habit for maintaining strength as we age actually contradicts some classic doctor recommendations. This means that what we've believed to be true for years might actually be weakening our muscles. But wait, here comes the most eye-opening part. The first of these healthy habits is something so common. Almost all of us do it every single day. And we may not even realize it, but this simple behavior could be silently harming our muscles. How? The seventh habit, hormetic stress. Yes, you heard that right. Now, I'm going to tell you something that might sound a bit strange. One of the most surprising things that people who remain strong, fit, and energetic even at the age of 80 do is this. They deliberately put themselves under controlled stress. But this isn't the kind of stress you're thinking of. This is a special kind that science calls hormetic stress. Have you heard of it before? Hormetic stress is actually a form of stress that's beneficial in small doses. You know the saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Well, when it comes to muscle health, that couldn't be more true. Research conducted by the Buck Institute for Research on Aging shows that short-term exposure to certain types of stress activates the body's cellular defense systems. This helps protect and even strengthen muscles, even at the age of 80. So, what method do these people use, you might ask? Temperature changes. Yes, these elderly but super energetic individuals, often called super-agers, expose their bodies to heat and cold from time to time. And through this, brown fat is activated, mitochondria, which produce energy in our cells, increase, the adiponectin hormone, which protects muscles, is released. For example, have you ever tried lowering the temperature of the water during the last 30 to 60 seconds of your shower? Or short cold water baths? Though these may seem difficult at first, they essentially reprogram your body. Similarly, saunas and hot baths activate heat shock proteins that help protect muscles. According to a study conducted in Finland, individuals who use the sauna 4 to 7 times a week experienced 40% less muscle loss compared to those who didn't use it at all. So, have you ever experienced hormetic stress? Have you tried cold showers or saunas? Write it in the comments. Let's see who has incorporated this habit into their life. If you liked the video, don't forget to support it and subscribe for more priceless information like this. Now, let's think together. What small step can we take today to strengthen ourselves? Intermittent fasting, which means eating during specific hours of the day, is one of the beneficial small stresses for the body. This method helps strengthen muscles and initiates a process called autophagy, where the body cleans out damaged cells. People who live long and healthy lives typically limit their eating window to about 8 hours a day. Even when applied for just 10 hours a day, this method can increase the activity of mitochondria, the energy-producing cell components, by 10% without any weight loss. According to research from the Salk Institute, this effect can be seen in just 12 weeks. Short but powerful muscle contractions are another beneficial form of stress. Super-agers perform isometric exercises by pushing or pulling a fixed object with all their strength for 5 to 10 seconds. These movements strengthen muscles and help them stay fit. These short but powerful contractions send signals to the muscle cells, keeping them strong and vibrant. What's more, they don't put excessive strain on the joints. Performing these types of exercises irregularly, meaning not always in the same way, makes them more effective. They should be done for a short period and followed by rest. When done correctly, these small stresses activate the longevity genes in the body. These are special genes that help protect our muscles as we age. We recommend starting these habits slowly and carefully. We don't want to overstrain the body. The goal should be to provide a gentle but beneficial stimulus. The sixth habit: consuming protein at the right time. As we age, getting enough protein becomes crucial, but scientists say that when we consume protein is just as important as how much we take in. With age, the body's ability to use protein decreases. This condition is called anabolic resistance. Research published in the Journal of Nutrition shows that spreading protein intake throughout the day is more beneficial than consuming it in a single meal. Especially after each meal, your muscles have about a 3 to 4 hour window to use the protein. Many people consume all their protein only at dinner, which means their muscles aren't supported enough throughout the day. The best approach is to consume about 25 to 30 grams of quality protein at each meal. That's why it's healthier to choose eggs, Greek yogurt, or a protein drink for breakfast instead of just bread or cereal. Lean meats, fish, dairy products, or vegetarian protein sources, such as lentils and beans, also require you to maintain this habit at lunch and dinner. Instead of consuming the same amount of protein in one meal, this timing technique can increase muscle protein synthesis by 25%. In a 12-week study conducted at the University of Texas, participants who followed this method gained an average of 1.2 pounds of muscle without making any other lifestyle changes. Do you want your muscles to get stronger? Then it's not enough to just eat protein. When you eat it also matters greatly. If you want your muscles to strengthen, you must get the timing right. The fifth habit: optimizing vitamin D levels. Vitamin D deficiency is a common issue, especially among more than 80% of the elderly population. This deficiency is often referred to as the hidden power killer, because despite playing many crucial roles in the body, most people are unaware of their deficiency. So, why is vitamin D so important? In addition to supporting bone health, it plays a major role in many other vital functions in the body. Scientists at Harvard University have discovered that vitamin D not only strengthens bones, but also activates important genes related to muscle health. These genes help strengthen muscles and improve overall physical health. Which vitamin D supplements are most effective? Exposure to sunlight is beneficial for the body, but as we age, this effectiveness decreases significantly. This is because between the ages of 20 and 65, the body's ability to produce vitamin D from sun exposure decreases by 50%. For this reason, relying solely on sunlight may not be enough, especially for the elderly. Typically, it's said that a person needs to take 600 international units, IU, of vitamin D daily, but this amount is quite insufficient for most elderly individuals. In many cases, vitamin D supplementation is necessary. However, it is very important that the supplement is taken in the correct amount, which should be determined based on personal health status and blood tests. Research shows that most elderly individuals need to take between 2,000 and 4,000 IU of vitamin D daily to reach ideal levels. Foods rich in vitamin D include fatty fish, egg yolks, and vitamin D fortified dairy products. In addition to regularly consuming these foods, it is also important, if possible, to expose yourself to direct midday sunlight for 15 to 20 minutes a day. This will help the body naturally produce vitamin D. A warning: when taking vitamin D, it's important to consider your vitamin K2 levels as well. If your body lacks sufficient vitamin K2, taking high doses of vitamin D can lead to calcium buildup in your blood vessels. Vitamin K2 is found in fermented foods and some animal products. This vitamin helps prevent calcium from going into your blood vessels and encourages it to be used in your bones. This is a synergistic interaction between vitamin D and vitamin K2. Therefore, when taking vitamin D, make sure your vitamin K2 levels are sufficient as well. It would be a good idea to consult your doctor and have a blood test to determine your body's vitamin D needs. Afterward, make sure to keep your vitamin D levels above 40 nanograms per milliliter to prevent muscle weakness. Rule 4. Managing inflammation daily. So, what are the common characteristics of healthy and strong aging individuals? Interestingly, one of the key traits of these people is having low levels of inflammation. Recent studies have shown that the term inflammaging is a significant factor in muscle mass loss among the elderly. Inflammaging refers to chronic low-grade inflammation, which causes muscle proteins to break down at a faster rate than the body can repair them. In other words, this quietly progressing inflammation process in the body accelerates muscle loss. Muscle loss becomes a bigger issue as we age. Therefore, controlling and managing inflammation is crucial for protecting muscles and ensuring a healthy aging process. One of the key things that super-agers notice is that getting a good night's sleep is one of their top priorities. To achieve this, they go to bed at the same time every night and make sure to sleep in a completely dark room. Sleep deprivation can lead to a 40% increase in inflammatory cytokines and accelerate muscle atrophy. Getting enough sleep is a critical step in controlling inflammation and maintaining muscle health. Another important strategy is paying attention to the health of their digestive systems. Changes in the gut microbiome that occur with aging have been shown, according to the University of California, to be a direct source of systemic inflammation. To prevent this, super-agers consume fermented foods in their diet. Each week, they include 30 varieties of plant-based foods, yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and other natural probiotics, as well as various sources of fiber. These foods help balance the digestive system, reduce inflammation, and support muscle health. Planning exercise, intensity, and consuming anti-inflammatory foods. Super-agers carefully plan their exercise routines and pay attention to exercise intensity. Regular physical activity is one of the key elements of healthy aging, but intense exercise should be avoided as we age. This is because excessive exercise can trigger inflammation in the body. An average super-ager engages in moderate exercise most days. Once or twice a week, they perform short but intense interval workouts. These types of exercises help strengthen muscles while also managing inflammation, preventing healthy muscle mass loss. Finally, super-agers regularly incorporate specific anti-inflammatory substances into their diets to keep inflammation under control. The most prominent of these are omega-3 fatty acids. Taking 2 to 3 grams of omega-3 daily from fatty fish or supplements reduces inflammation in the body and supports heart health. Additionally, powerful anti-inflammatory foods like curcumin and turmeric are often found in the kitchens of super-agers. Foods rich in polyphenols, such as blueberries, green tea, and extra virgin olive oil, also help reduce inflammation. These foods strengthen the body's natural defense mechanisms while controlling the inflammation that increases with age. Research conducted at the University of California has shown that age-related changes in gut bacteria can lead to a 29% increase in systemic inflammation markers within 12 weeks. This can cause inflammation to become chronic and accelerate muscle mass loss. Therefore, maintaining gut health is critical for keeping inflammation under control during the aging process. A simple blood test, the high-sensitivity C-reactive protein (HSCRP) test, is an effective method for monitoring inflammation. Super-agers track their inflammation levels with such tests and manage to keep them below 1.0 milligrams per liter. Compared to ordinary elderly individuals, super-agers' inflammation levels are typically 3 to 5 times lower, which allows them to experience a healthier aging process. Third principle, taking a specific vitamin every day. While most nutrition advice focuses on macronutrients, such as protein, carbohydrates, and fats, super-agers, who take muscle health to extraordinary levels, pay special attention to certain micronutrients that support body functions and protein synthesis. These micronutrients are essential to maximize the benefits your muscles get from protein and exercise. Without them, no matter how much protein you consume or how much exercise you do, preventing muscle mass loss becomes almost impossible. Magnesium, in particular, stands out as an often overlooked electrolyte for muscle health. According to research from the University of Vermont, this mineral is crucial for proper muscle function and over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body. However, more than 70% of the elderly population lacks adequate magnesium levels. A 2021 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that elderly individuals with sufficient magnesium levels had 30% stronger cognitive function and much higher physical performance than those with lower magnesium levels. In other words, magnesium not only boosts muscle strength, but also supports mental sharpness. Another nutrient that has a significant impact on muscle mass and strength is creatine. A 2015 study by McMaster University showed that energy production and water content in muscle cells increased significantly with a daily intake of 3 to 5 grams of creatine. This creates an anabolic environment in the body, meaning it sets the stage for muscle growth. In conclusion, it is important not to neglect taking these micronutrients daily to maintain muscle mass and strength. Supplements like magnesium, creatine, and others can be key to healthy aging. Methylated B12 and other critical nutrients. As we age, the body's ability to absorb certain vitamins and minerals decreases. One of these is vitamin B12. Due to a reduction in stomach acid production, the absorption of B12 becomes more difficult. Additionally, common medications like proton pump inhibitors and metformin rapidly deplete this vital vitamin. B12 deficiency negatively impacts neural function and muscle energy production. Super-agers prefer the active form of B12, methylcobalamin. This is used instead of the more common and cheaper cyanocobalamin. Methylcobalamin acts faster and more efficiently in the body. In addition, minerals such as zinc, selenium, and chromium play an important role in protein synthesis and insulin sensitivity. These minerals perform a critical function in transporting nutrients to muscle tissue. According to a study from Tufts University, reaching optimal levels of these trace minerals is associated with a 22% increase in muscle mass over a 5-year period. In other words, ensuring adequate intake of these minerals supports muscle strength and health in the long term. In conclusion, it is crucial for the body to properly absorb B12 and minerals as we age. Super-agers succeed in improving muscle health and overall quality of life by obtaining these nutrients from the right sources. Micronutrient testing can help super-agers identify their specific nutritional deficiencies and understand which supplements are necessary. This test allows them to avoid unnecessary supplements and tailor their treatment methods according to their biochemical needs. By taking only the required nutrient supplements, they both support their health and save money. Protecting neuromuscular connections, the second habit of super-agers. Neuromuscular connections play a vital role in enabling communication between muscles and the nervous system. When muscles atrophy, it's not just the muscle fibers that deteriorate, but also the neuromuscular connections linking the muscles to the nervous system. In older adults, particularly those aged 60 and above, the rate of deterioration of these connections is faster. Although a good diet and regular exercise help strengthen muscles, if neuromuscular junctions weaken, muscle function can be negatively affected. According to research from the University of Michigan, super-agers maintain much stronger neuromuscular connections. Studies have revealed that there are certain behaviors that can preserve and even repair these vital connections. Super-agers incorporate these strategies into their lives, strengthening the communication between their muscles and nervous system. Regularly practicing these habits not only prevents the loss of muscle mass, but also optimizes nerve-muscle interaction and slows down the effects of aging. In the first session, you will concentrate on correctly coordinating and executing the prescribed movements. This is a fundamental step that strengthens your muscles and nervous system. Research has shown that compared to low-intensity activities such as just walking, coordinated exercises such as Tai Chi, dance, tennis, and ping pong can strengthen the pathways between muscles and the brain. Such activities can improve neuromuscular connections by making your nervous system use muscle fibers in specific patterns. A 2020 study showed that older people who practiced coordinated activities twice a week maintained their neuromuscular connections 31% better than those who only did traditional exercise. This type of exercise contributes greatly to strengthening neuromuscular connections that weaken with age, as it allows muscles and nerves to work together. Chemicals that promote neuromuscular health form the basis of the second method. Research reveals that alpha-lipoic acid and acetyl-L-carnitine can inhibit oxidative damage and support muscle function. These compounds can help slow down aging processes at the cellular level, thus keeping your muscles healthy for longer. Another important compound for strengthening the nerve-muscle connection are some forms of vitamin B1. Substances such as benetamine and huperin can improve this process by increasing a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine, which helps muscles to become active. Acetylcholine is an important neurotransmitter that transmits the electrical signals needed for muscles to function properly. These substances, found in Chinese club moss, can strengthen the nerve-muscle connection and improve muscle function. In addition, some breathing techniques practiced by super-agers regulate neuromuscular transmission by stimulating the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is an important nerve that controls many functions of the body and directly affects muscle activation. By practicing simple breathing techniques for just 5 minutes a day, you can increase the neural activation of muscles by 15%. For example, the box breathing technique involves inhaling for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds, exhaling for 4 seconds, and holding for 4 seconds again. Breathing techniques like these can improve not only your muscular health, but also your overall well-being. One of the most intriguing findings is the impact of mental activities on maintaining neuromuscular connections. A study by Columbia University found that older adults' muscle function is much better preserved when they regularly engage in challenging cognitive activities. This is because the neuromuscular system and the brain have many common neural pathways. Research has shown that brain exercises have an effect that directly improves muscle health. By regularly challenging their mental activity, super-agers using these neuromuscular protection techniques can manage to keep their brain connections strong well into their late 80s and beyond. This allows them to engage their muscle fibers efficiently. Such cognitive exercises maintain not only brain function, but also muscle health, slowing down the aging process and preventing the loss of muscle mass. Super-agers also use mental stimulation as an important tool to maintain muscle function. The first habit is resistance exercise, which develops over time. The most important habit that separates the extraordinarily strong 80-year-olds from their peers is the one that experts at Tufts University describe as the most powerful anti-aging drug they have found. With strength levels that defy their age, super-agers use targeted resistance training programs to fight against the biological processes of muscle atrophy. Most seniors never learn this basic fact. Muscles work on a use-it-or-lose-it principle, but there is one important exception. In order to preserve your muscles, you need to push them slowly. Going week after week with the same light weights, hiking or water aerobics is not enough to maintain muscle mass after 60. So how unique is the method used by super-agers? Initially, the focus is on intensity, not duration. According to a study from McMaster University, high-intensity resistance training produced greater muscle gains for seniors than 5 weeks of moderate-intensity exercise. The key is to get to the point where you can't do another repetition with the correct form, which is what exercise physiologists call temporary muscle exhaustion. This triggers protein synthesis in the muscles for up to 72 hours after exercise and sends strong anabolic signals. This type of exercise not only strengthens muscles, but also slows down the aging process and helps prevent muscle loss. Secondly, super-agers focus on complex movements that work multiple muscle groups simultaneously. These movements are done with reduced versions of movements such as squats, deadlifts, rows, push and pulls, taking into account muscles and joint health. Isolated movements, such as biceps curls or leg extensions, produce a weaker hormonal response compared to these movements. Super-agers use progressive overload, pushing their muscles harder and harder each day. Using the same weights month after month leads to stagnation because the muscles adapt to the stress you put on them. Super-agers track their workouts and push a little harder each time. Fourth, they focus on the eccentric, lowering the weight, part of the exercises, a method known to be beneficial in strengthening muscles for seniors. By lowering the weight slowly, you put more tension on the muscles, but less strain on the joints. Surprisingly, this method works even for people who don't have the time. According to a groundbreaking study from the University of Alabama, older adults who began a 12-week progressive resistance training program increased their strength by 35% and gained an average of 3.3 pounds of muscle. Along with these remarkable changes, cognitive function, bone density, and blood sugar control also improved. The most common mistake among retirees is that they see resistance training as something too dangerous or outdated as they get older. But the real danger is not doing resistance training because it can increase the risk of muscle loss, frailty, falls, and independence problems. Resistance training is vital to prevent muscle loss. If you're only going to do one thing from this video, it's important to get into the habit of progressive resistance training, working with an instructor at the beginning, and then building up to an intensity appropriate for your fitness level will help you get into the habit safely and effectively. Doing just 2 30-minute sessions a week to get started can dramatically impact the rate at which you age. Here are 7 habits backed by research that allow some 80-year-olds to still stay strong. Today, pick one habit that you can easily implement and work your way towards others. The effort you make today to build your strength and independence will pay big dividends in the long run. I ask you now, do you currently practice any of these 7 habits? If so, which one surprised you? Is there an elderly person in your life who has extraordinary strength for their age? Tell us your thoughts and stories in the comments. Thank you for taking the time to watch.